So good afternoon everyone. I will be discussing about the market model, so which is just like a continuation. So market model as responsiveness. Media firms claim that the logic of supply and demand make them more attuned to the pulse of the audiences because they keep tab of the demand for their products. They are able to supply the media products that they think are the current preferences of the audience or consumers. Think how broadcasting organizations rely heavily on the ratings generated by organizations such as AJB Nelson Media Research Philippines and Kantar Media Philippines to determine both format and content that are well received by the audiences. Think how even print media organizations invest on audience research to gain more knowledge of the preferences of the current readership. So, ibig sabihin, ang market model ay nagpapakita kung paano nagiging responsive ang media sa needs and wants ng audience. Para sa mga media companies, mahalaga or it is very important to have a logic ng supply and demand. Ibig sabihin, kung ano ang hinahanap ng mga tao, what are the preferences of their consumers or audiences. Yun yung sinusubukan nilang ibigay. Kaya lagi silang nakamonitor sa preferences ng audience nila para makasabay sa uso at panlasa ng tao. Halimbawa rito ang mga TV networks ay heavily dependent sa ratings na galing sa different organizations tulad ng AJB Nelson Media, Research Philippines at Kantar Media Philippines. Ginagamit nila ito, ang data na ito para malaman kung ano ang klaseng shows o format o content ang pasok sa viewers. Isa pang halimbawa nito yung mga newspapers at magazines, companies na nag-invest sa audience research para mas lalo pang maintindihan nila kung ano ang gusto ng kanilang readers. Dahil sa ganitong paraan, mas nai-adjust nila ang kanilang content para sa mas appealing sa target audience nila. Sunod naman rito ay ang market model promotes flexibility. It is always responding to better and more innovative media products. Simply put, the market model allows media firms to thrive, to be on top of their game. Thus, the nature of playing field itself allows firms and entities to constantly adjust and innovate. Think of how the internet is constantly evolving to adapt to the expanding needs of the global community. Think of how even the creative departments of broadcasting networks are gearing up their personnel so they can adapt to an increasing demand of audiences. Some networks have employed specialized training for the writers of fictional narratives so they can be both relevant to local audience and to prospective audience abroad. And the light that local soap operas are being exported to their countries as well. Ang market model ay nagpapakita rin ng flexibility o kakayahang mag-adjust. Lagi itong bukas sa pagbabago at inovasyon para sa makagawa ng mas magandang media products. Ibig sabihin, ang media companies ay palaging nagsusumikap na mapabuti ang kanilang content at serbisyo para sa ikapapanatili ng kanilang industry status. Tulad na lang ng internet na patuloy nag evolve para mas ma-meet ang growing needs ng global community. Ang media rin ay laging nag-a-adjust para makasabay sa trends at demand ng audience. Isang magandang example o halimbawa ay ang mga creative departments ng TV networks. Pinaghahandaan nila ang lumalaking expectation o expectations ng mga viewers. May mga kumpanya rin naman na nagbibigay ng specialized training sa kanilang mga writers, lalong-lalo na sa gumagawa ng mga drama o fiction para mas maging relevant hindi lang sa local audience kundi pati na rin sa international market. Dahil ang ilang local teleseries ngayon ay ine-export na sa ibang bansa. Kaya kailangang maging competitive at world-class ang kalidad ng content. Sa madaling salita, ang market model, ang kompetisyon at demand ay nagtutulak sa media firms na laging mag-improve o mag-innovate. Kumbaga, itong market model na to yung driving force for innovation. Isa rin dito yung the market model promotes mass products. So producers gain expertise to create successful products for mass audience, given the amount of their investment that are spent in financial terms. They tend to veer toward mass production in their effort to gain their investment back to reap more profits. The link of the local media industry to the global economy enables the production of mass products. Think now how firms make their way through the illegal routes as pirated artifacts produced in huge volumes and openly sold to various outlets. While these media products are considered illicit goods, their response continues to hold the media market, how the media market generate profits for big businesses as it's patronized by the public. Ang market model ay nakatuon din sa mass media production ng media products. Ibig sabihin, ang mga producers ay gumagawa ng content na swak sa mas maswak nakarating sa audience. Dahil malaki ang puhunan na inilabas nila lalo na sa in terms of financial, mas pinipili nilang gumawa ng mga produkto na siguradong kikita at babawi sa investment nila. Kaya mas nakafocus sila sa content na may malawak na appeal sa audience. Dahil konektado na rin ang local media sa global economy, mas madali na rin nilang um, malakihang produksyon ng media content. Isang halimbawa na nirito ay ang pagkalat ng pirated films. Kahit na illegal, marami pa rin ang bumibili ng mga ito dahil mas mura at madaling ma-access. Dahil dito kahit bawal, kumikita pa rin ng malaking negosyo mula sa ganitong sistema. Kaya kahit may mga issue tungkol sa piracy, parte na rin ito ng media market na makakaapekto sa kabuuang daloy ng produksyon at kita lalong-lalo na sa mass media industry. And now we will jump to the media organization ownership and structures. Media organizations, ownership and structures. It would be the safe to assert that media organization and print, radio, and television started to continue to operate as a profit-driven enterprises. Newspapers and magazines accomplished the layout by giving print advertisement ample space. Commercial take a significant fraction, almost 40% of airing time of television program. Radio benefits significantly from the product placement and advertisement. What drives a profit driven direction of these media enterprises are mechanism that attract those who significantly contribute to their profits and advertisers and media buyers. These entities produce advertisement to sell products to target consumers. The mechanism for attracting those who would contribute significantly to their profits and advertisers are fairly well established. If a commercial sell products to the audiences, it's also because the audience are sold to the advertisers. So meaning ang media organization ay may ownership at structure na nakabase sa profit-oriented model. Ibig sabihin ng mga kumpanya ng media tulad ng TV networks, radio station, newspapers, at online platforms ay kalimitang pagmamayari ng mga private companies na ang pangunahing goal ay kumita ng pera. Siyempre, para kumita, ang media companies ay gumagamit ng mga advertising. Binabayaran sila ng mga kumpanya para i-promote ang kanilang product sa pamamagitan ng commercials, sponsored content, at product placement sa mga palabas, programa o artikulo. Ang laki ng kita nila ay depende kung gaano karaming audience ang naaabot nila. Mas maraming audience, mas mahal ang bayad sa ads. Ito na nga yung mga ads na nakikita natin kalimitan sa mga online platforms, sa TikTok. Ayun. Bukod pa rito, pinaplano din ng mga media organizations kung paano nila ibebenta ang content nila sa target audiences nila, kung paano ito nila i-schedule ang mga programa at kung paano nila gagamitin ang resources para sa maximum na kita nila. It is often said that the rise of internet has changed the landscape of media ownership, broadcasting, and possibilities of democratic participation in ownership. We need to examine this proposition very carefully. It is the true that the internet has provided groups of civil society organizations, even individual access to a powerful tools that give them the means to create, produce, and to disseminate media products. On the other hand, it has also given the same tools to a big businesses so that their reach and power could be further entrenched, drowning out smaller players. Ibig sabihin, sa local blogging scene, maraming vlogger nang nakahanap ng paraan para kumita online. Karaniwan nagsisimula sila sa simpleng mga blog post na nakakuha sila ng steady readers. Kapag tumataas ang blog traffic, nagsusulat na sila ng mga interesting o controversial na topic para mas makuha nila ang atensyon ng kanilang audiences. Dahil dito, nagkakaroon din sila ng mga tie-up sa online businesses. Ibig sabihin may mga kumpanya na nagbabayad sa kanila para ma-feature ang kanilang produkto through vlogging. Sa ganitong paraan, kumikita ang mga vloggers ng modest income naman. Ganun din ang ginagawa ng mga independent media producers gaya ng mga um, indie film creators na ginagamit ang YouTube bilang platforms para i-promote ang kanilang mga gawa o mga products. Marami na ring popular vloggers sa Pilipinas ang um, napagkakakitaan nito at naging stable ang income nila through online platforms. Pero kahit na maraming oportunidad, may mga nagsasabi rin na hindi pantay ang laban. Ang tools na available sa mga small content creator ay maliit lang kumpara sa malalaking kumpanya na may malalaking puhunan. Mas madali para sa kanila na i-dominate ang online platforms at palawakin ang presensya nila. Halimbawa, ang mga major broadcasting stations ay nakipag-partner sa iba't ibang businesses para mas lalo pa nilang mapalawak ang market reach nila through online. Kaya mas um, napapalalim nila ang market leadership nila. Sa tulong ng partnerships at investment, lalo na silang nagiging dominant sa digital platforms. So that will be all. I hope you learned something about the different market models. And that will be all. Thank you.